This is going to be a controversial one because I don't believe that you're going to save the world by reducing your ecological footprint, by downshifting your life, and by trying to have less of a negative impact. And I want to share with you why I believe that is not your greatest contribution and how I orient to contributing to the shift that we're in on this planet. So, to give you a little bit of context of where I'm coming from here, in my late teens and early 20s, I was a vegan, dumpster diving hippie who felt really proud how little he was consuming, how he was living off of the waste of society. I was mostly wearing clothes that others gave away for free. So for a period of my life, I was living this lifestyle of reducing my ecological footprint as much as I could and consuming as little as possible. And I felt really proud of like, wow, look at what an amazing contribution I am. And at the same time, I was looking at other people with a lot of judgment because most of them were not doing what I was doing. Now, fast forward to where I am today, about 15 years later. I don't believe any of those things are anywhere close to my greatest contribution to the shift that is happening on this planet and the contribution to a world that is more just, that is fair for everyone, that provides opportunities to people, and so on and so forth. And the reason for that is the following. What I was doing back then, and what I see a lot of people doing in the activism world, be it climate activism or social activism, is making yourself small, trying to make yourself smaller, trying to reduce the negative impact that you have on this world. And if you follow that logic to the end, the world would be better off if you were not here, because then you would have no negative impact. And I believe very much the opposite is true. The world needs all of you. And the world needs you in your most expanded, shining, joyful, heart radiating space. That is where your greatest contribution is going to come from. And stepping into that space also means stepping out of the linear logic of the mind. I don't believe that we're going to massively transform life on this earth by logically thinking our way into what is the smartest way that I can reduce my footprint, that I can be less of a burden for this planet. I think that logic is very short in its thinking. And I believe that the real contribution that each of one is here for comes from a much deeper place than our mind. And when I follow that inspiration, there's an act of surrender in there. I don't know how that will look like, and I don't know if I will always be able to logically justify why I do the things that I feel called to do. And I believe that the more people step into this space of inspiration, of following your joy, that is what is going to be the most powerful contribution to this shift. And so if your greatest joy is to not fly and to just hang out in your local area, to avoid driving your car, to only buy locally sourced produce, then all power to you. I so celebrate you doing that. But then you're doing that from your deepest inspiration and not just from your mind. And when you do that, you also understand that other people's greatest inspiration and greatest contribution might look entirely different from how yours looks like. And if you come from that place, you're not going to resent other people doing other things. And maybe for someone, their greatest contribution is to fly around the globe and hold really meaningful workshops for high-level CEOs, and their ecological footprint will probably be a lot worse than yours. And it might still be the most powerful contribution that they have. So what this requires us to do is to step out of the mind and to start trusting our felt sense more deeply. Now, I want to be clear that there's a big difference for me between following my greatest inspiration and tempering my ego and doing things that feel nice for a moment but that actually keep me empty and hollow. It's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about following the inspiration of your soul that guides you to the things that you are meant, that you literally came here for, and that no one else will be able to do the way that you are going to do them. And this is why I do the work that I do in helping people step into their highest vision, operate from this surrendered place of listening to the deepest inspiration and then being committed to actually following through, even if you don't fully understand why you're doing that. Because I believe that the more people actually do this, the more powerful our contribution would be. And it is my felt sense, my belief, and my understanding that if more people fully allow themselves to expand and to take up space, they're not taking anything away from anyone else. If I step into my most expanded, joyful, heart-open space and way of being, I invite others to do the same. I don't diminish them. And so I believe that this narrative that we need to get out of, that I see in the world of activism, is that if I take up too much space, then I'm taking something away from someone else. There is a way of doing that, and that comes from ego. That comes from power over. I make myself bigger because I want to be bigger than you. It's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about I'm stepping into my most expanded self because I know that that is the greatest contribution that I can make. And I know that if I do that, I'm calling other people up to do the same. Not everyone will follow that invitation, and that's completely fine. Some people will be triggered by that. That's also fine. It's also a form of contribution. But I understand that I'm not serving anyone if I try to make myself smaller than I am. And if my primary focus is to reduce the negative impact that I have on this world. Let me know your perspective in the comments. Let me know if you agree, if you disagree, what your thoughts are. And if you want to dive more deeply into this work that I'm talking about here, then I so deeply invite you to join us in the Highest Vision program, which is starting today, Tuesday. You'll be able to jump in a few days afterwards as well. We already have an amazing group of 14 people who are joining us for this 7-week journey. And that is what I'm here for. That is my purpose right now, is to help people allow themselves to relax into their deepest expansion and show up in life, in their relationships, in business from this expanded place. So with that, wish you the most epic of days, and let me know your thoughts below.